tiger thought it had found an easy meal, but within seconds, the animal in front of it would make the predator think twice. The African savanna was unusually quiet. The sun hung low over the landscape, casting long golden shadows across the dry grass. At the edge of a small waterhole, the heat had driven animals toward the water. For wildlife, a waterhole can mean the difference between survival and death. It is a place where animals come to drink, cool themselves, and search for food. But it is also a dangerous place. Predators know that thirsty animals eventually have to lower their guard. And on this day, one unlikely encounter was about to unfold. A honey badger slowly emerged from the surrounding grass. Its compact body moved confidently across the dusty ground. The honey badger was not looking for trouble. It had one simple goal: water. It reached the edge of the waterhole and stopped. The animal looked around. It sniffed the air. Its small ears moved as it listened for danger. Nothing seemed unusual, so it lowered its head and began drinking. For several moments, everything remained peaceful. The honey badger continued lapping up the water, but several meters away, something was watching. Hidden behind tall grass was a tiger. The large predator had been moving through the area when it noticed the honey badger near the water. The tiger stopped, its eyes focused on the smaller animal. It watched carefully. The tiger was much larger. Its muscular body was built for explosive bursts of speed and power. Its paws were enormous compared with the honey badger. Its jaws were capable of delivering a powerful bite. From the tiger's perspective, the honey badger looked like a possible meal, but the tiger did not immediately attack. Instead, it began approaching, slowly, quietly, one paw at a time. The tiger kept low as it moved through the grass. Its striped coat helped break up its outline against the vegetation. The honey badger continued drinking. It had no idea how close the predator was becoming. The tiger moved several meters closer, then stopped. It watched. The honey badger drank again. Another step, then another. The distance between predator and potential prey continued shrinking. The tiger's eyes remained locked on the honey badger. Everything appeared to be going according to plan. But the tiger was about to discover that appearances can be misleading. The honey badger suddenly stopped drinking. Its head lifted. It sniffed the air. Something had changed. The animal stood still for a moment. Its ears moved. Then it slowly turned, and the tiger was right there. The honey badger looked directly at the predator. The tiger stopped. For several seconds, the two animals simply stared at each other. No roar, no attack, just silence. The tiger had expected an opportunity. Instead, it had been noticed. And now the honey badger knew exactly what was standing in front of it. The honey badger didn't immediately run. That was the first surprise. Instead, it turned its entire body toward the tiger. It faced the threat. Its posture became defensive. The tiger moved slightly to one side. The honey badger followed. The tiger moved again. The honey badger turned with it. It refused to give the predator an easy angle. The tension around the waterhole grew. The tiger had the obvious physical advantage. But wild animals don't make decisions based on size alone. A predator must consider the possible consequences of every attack. A meal isn't worth much if getting that meal means suffering a serious injury. And the honey badger was making the situation increasingly complicated. The tiger stepped forward. The honey badger stood its ground. Another step. Still no retreat. The tiger paused. It appeared to be assessing its options. The honey badger's body remained tense. Its eyes stayed focused on the tiger. The waterhole was no longer a peaceful drinking spot. It had become a battlefield of nerves. The tiger moved closer. Then suddenly, it charged. The attack happened quickly. The tiger rushed forward, kicking dust into the air. The honey badger reacted almost immediately. Instead of simply turning and fleeing, it faced the tiger. The predator slowed and adjusted its movement. The two animals briefly collided in a chaotic struggle. Dust rose around them. The honey badger fought defensively, trying to protect itself from the much larger animal. The tiger had overwhelming size and strength, but the honey badger was not behaving like an easy victim. It was aggressive in its defense. It kept moving, it kept turning, and it refused to simply surrender the space around the waterhole. The confrontation lasted only a short time before the animals separated. The tiger stepped back. The honey badger remained alert, For a moment, the tiger simply watched. Then it moved forward again. The honey badger responded. Again, the tiger hesitated. This was becoming a very different encounter from what the predator had expected. The tiger had started with the advantage of surprise, but that advantage was gone. Now the honey badger was fully aware. Every movement was being watched. Every approach was being challenged. And the tiger had to decide whether the potential reward was worth the risk. This is something people sometimes forget when watching predators in the wild. A predator does not want to fight everything it encounters. Even the strongest predator can be injured, and an injury can become deadly in the wild. A damaged paw can make hunting difficult. A serious wound can prevent an animal from catching food. And without food, survival becomes uncertain. So predators often choose their battles carefully. The tiger looked at the honey badger again. The smaller animal was still standing there, still watching, still refusing to make the encounter easy. The tiger slowly moved sideways. The honey badger followed with its eyes. The predator stopped. The honey badger stopped. Another long silence followed. Then the tiger began walking away. It didn't sprint. It simply turned and started moving through the grass. But the honey badger did not immediately relax. It continued watching. The tiger walked several meters, then looked back. The honey badger was still there. The tiger continued. Again, it looked back. The distance between them grew. Eventually, the tiger disappeared into the tall grass. The honey badger remained near the water. For the moment, it was safe. It lowered its head again. And incredibly, it returned to what it had been doing before the entire confrontation began. Drinking. The same waterhole that had attracted the honey badger had also attracted the tiger. But the two animals wanted completely different things. One wanted water. The other saw an opportunity for food. And in the end, neither got exactly what it expected. The tiger didn't get an easy meal, and the honey badger didn't get a completely peaceful drink. But the encounter reveals something fascinating about animal survival. In nature, physical size is only one part of the equation. Behavior matters, confidence matters, experience matters. And knowing when to avoid a dangerous fight can be just as important as winning one. The honey badger has become famous for its bold behavior. It is a small but powerful mammal with strong limbs, thick skin, sharp claws, and a defensive temperament. That doesn't mean a honey badger is invincible. It isn't. A tiger remains vastly larger and more powerful. But wild animals don't need to be invincible to survive. They only need to survive the situation in front of them. And sometimes that means making a predator hesitate. The tiger had another choice. It could continue attacking, or it could walk away. Continuing the confrontation could potentially lead to injury. Walking away meant giving up a possible meal. The tiger chose the safer option, and that decision is not unusual in the natural world. Predators constantly calculate risk. A successful hunter isn't simply an animal that can kill. It is an animal that knows when an opportunity is worth pursuing and when it isn't. As the sun continued falling over the savanna, the waterhole slowly returned to normal. Birds moved through the surrounding trees. The wind pushed gently through the dry grass. The tiger was somewhere in the distance, and the honey badger remained near the water. The dramatic encounter was over, but the lesson remained. Never assume that a smaller animal will automatically behave like easy prey. In the wild, every animal has its own defenses. Every species has evolved strategies for surviving danger. And sometimes the most unexpected confrontation begins with something as simple as an animal stopping for a drink. The tiger arrived believing it had found an opportunity. The honey badger had simply arrived looking for water. Within minutes, the entire situation changed. One became the hunter, the other became the defender. Then the roles seemed to blur as the smaller animal refused to back down, and eventually the larger predator decided to leave. Not because the honey badger was stronger, but because the potential reward wasn't worth the risk. That is one of the most important rules of survival in the wild. The tiger disappeared into the savanna, the honey badger remained, and the waterhole became peaceful once again. But somewhere beyond the grass, another hunt was waiting to begin. Because in the wild, every day is another fight for survival. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe to Bodyverse TV for more incredible wildlife encounters, animal facts, and stories from the natural world.